Well, everybody on Facebook seems to be on this nostalgia wave lately, reminding you of shit from the 90s and early 2000s and seeing if you too remember what they're talking about. So here's my bit to add to this. Does anybody remember Stretch Screamers? If I could actually go back to when I played with toys and action figures when I was a little kid, these were my favorites to collect. They were these huge, stretchy action figures marketed towards kids, obviously, but at the same time, they were an homage to classic horror films, which is pretty dope. This is among the many ways that even little kids know who the Frankenstein monster is, for an example, even though you know they've never sat through the movie and it came out in 1931, for Christ's sake. Why would they? If you were to ask me what these action figures do, I'd almost refer you to that scene from Rocky 2.
And they want to make a Rocky doll. You understand? You can kick it, you can beat it. For kids, you can kick it, you can beat it. It does everything. Takes a terrific beating.
Yeah, I thought they were mainly fun to collect, but if you were to actually play with them, they don't do much. You just torture the shit out of them, stretch their arms and they scream, obviously that's what the title implies, but then each of them have a bulging body part when you squeeze them. This was the most fascinating fucking thing as a kid. Don't ask me why, kids are easily fascinated. They came in series of 4, so it was always cool to see which 4 monsters they were gonna go with. The first series to hit the scene features the Frankenstein monster, the Mummy, the Wolfman, and oh god, what's his name? Ghoulface from Scream. It was always fun discovering which body part bulges out of the monsters when you squeeze them. For the Frankenstein monster, it was his brain, the Mummy's eye, the Wolfman's cheek, and Ghoulface's tonsils. Well, whatever the fuck. Why wasn't it Dracula instead of the killer from Scream? We just jumped from the 1930s and 40s to the 90s. That's a little bizarre. And the Wolfman looks nothing like the Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman, but I guess that's okay. Kids don't really know the difference. The second series had 1 Universal monster and 3 other aimless characters I'm not that familiar with. They might be later Universal monsters, but not the classic Universal monsters. This looks to be more inspired by the 50s and 60s horror films, which is kind of my cutoff with classics, so I don't really know. You've got the Creature from the Black Lagoon, which was dope. I had to have that one. Then Gargoyle, Alien, and Cyclops as they're officially titled. And after that, I just kind of lost interest. They eventually evolved to a series that actually oozed some kind of slime when you squeezed them. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do with that? Make a giant mess? Those were the kind of toys that made parents go, oh, Jesus Christ, he wants the action figure that oozes shit all over my fucking carpet. That's great. And apparently they made a comeback somewhere along the line after that, but whatever. Nothing was as cool as that first series. So share this video if you remember Stretch Screamers. This was my shit as a kid for a brief moment.